Hey guys, Jeff here, and one of the things I want to talk about today is 3D printing. It is such a fantastic tool for our sport, and I really want this video more than anything to be a shout out to my buddy Nick. He has really hooked me up over our time as friends. I found out he had a 3D printer. He was talking about the fact he wasn't printing enough to use up his filament before it went bad, and I said, "Oh really?" And this pile that you see in front of you is what happened from our conversations. Now, he started off making me this nice big pinning tray. You haven't seen it that much because I've ended up with a lot of others, but it is a nice one. I enjoyed using it before I got the others. And after that, we realized he really could do a lot that could help me. So, just wanted to go through some of the things that he's printed for me, and more than anything, use this video to shout out and say, Nick, you know that I appreciate you. I love all the work you've done for me, and by the way, I miss you. So, going through some of the things that he made. One of the first was he helped me make these holders for practice locks. I've made these for progressive pinning. I actually just used kick cylinders myself, pinned them from 2 to 4 pins. And then I also, and I've talked about these in a previous video, set them up in different configurations. So you can see I've got my T-pins, my spool pins, standard pins, and serrated pins. Now, this is not a file that I found anywhere like this. In my next video, I will talk about how you can modify files that you find yourself to better fit your purposes. I will also say another benefit of the 3D printing is that things don't always fit perfectly. Some of these kicks were not quite the right size, but with a little bit of heat added, and you can see some where it deformed there, with a little bit of heat, you can actually get it to kind of stretch and smush and move to fit things in there. Next up, as far as my favorite things, he printed, and this is the one you've seen more often, this pinning tray with tool holder. You'll notice that it's monogrammed. Again, I edited that myself. We'll talk about that next week. I also really loved this one because he actually ran out of one type of filament partway through and had to change colors, and ended up with this striation look, which he was apologizing. I loved it. He made some followers for me, including, there was another one somewhere, some of these Euro style followers. I don't even have locks that need them, but he was able to make them for me, and I appreciated that. Next up, on this tray, oh, there's the missing for the Euro. On this tray, I also have the beginnings of a disc detainer lock. They all fit together, all the pieces fit together inside this nice little container. And what happens is you've got these, there should be 2 discs. The other one is somewhere in my garage. We moved, it got piled in with stuff, I'm not sure where it is. But all of the pieces fit, if you put them the right way in, inside of this case so that you can keep it all protected when you're moving around. Something I still need to play with more and make it work a little bit better. Another one that you've seen, I believe it was in the video number 37 where I picked $4 files, is my vise. Now, the vise is interesting because this is one of the first times where you have to add in your own hardware. I had to get some pieces to epoxy in to have the guide rods, to have the screw and nut through here and down here. But while it's not as perfect as something you can buy, I know a lot of people love the vices you can get at Harbor Freight, it's done the job for me. In addition, this print actually included, you'll see a pinning tray down here, but also these blocks here, so that way if you have something that's not a padlock and won't lock in here easily, you can fit it in here if you find the right block. Yeah, it doesn't quite fit. But with the right block and the right locks, they can fit together in here to hold your locks secure for picking. Speaking of holding locks secure for picking, he also printed this kick cylinder for me, because I don't know about you, a lot of times trying to hold kick cylinders in hand, they're just so tiny your hand starts cramping up. But this one here This is a challenge lock that I've been working on picking from Texas Jim, but having this just makes it a lot more comfortable for holding. I also got him to print a, well, some of you will know what this is. This is a hammer for bump keys. Isn't quite working right for me, and it could just be my bump key technique, but it could be that I need a little more weight in the hammer. I'm also really wanting to put a hole in it so I could put it on a lanyard to keep it with the bump keys. Almost through here. He also printed for me a training lock for teaching people about lock picking. I'm sure we've seen these before. Now, I still need to get the right spring. The only thing I had on handy was too small, and sometimes it springs out under pressure. But this is really great when I'm explaining to people how it works, and you can see I've got some other pins down here. Lastly, it's also great for prototyping. The 3D printing is great for prototyping. I was able to find, well, I should say prototyping or making stencils. I was able to find these comb picks because I've been wanting to play with comb picks, especially since I've got a Master 150, which I believe should be comb pickable. However, in the type of filament that he had, and what you use for printing will make a difference. It was actually too thin, and if I try to use this, it's just going to bend this. But I can use this as a stencil for making my own comb picks, which I plan on doing. Additionally, he actually made me a tubular tensioner. This one didn't quite work yet. I need to do some, I think, filing on it and a little heating to try to make it fit. But that was just something to play with until I got my goat pick. Anyways, this is what I've been able to get from my friend Nick. If you have a friend with a 3D printer, talk with them. They might be willing to print something for you. Now, this is just the basic stuff. If you know people who are really good, you can have some better things. Like some of these, I think these are both from Bobby Keys with the colors and designs. At any rate, I hope you'll play with 3D printing, and I will talk to you later.